crazy.
Can you come on?
Yeah. That's crazy.
You ready? It's here. It's back in full effect.
Hello, y'all. Hello.
Hello. Hello. What's up, world?
Wow, we're back. Are we back?
We're back.
Wow.
We're back. It's been a while. We got a new scenery here. We're not in UP anymore. That's our old apartment.
Welcome to the gathering.
Yeah, this is the gathering. Great place to live. You know, it's always sunny over here. But I mean, my man's still stuck in UP. But we're just filming in here. These are my living quarters. But we can talk about my crib later. NFL season is back in full effect. You know, kicked off recently with the Broncos and the Panthers going at it.
I mean, that was such a great game. Like,
yeah, what a rematch.
To kick off the season with the Super Bowl rematch, the Broncos and the Panthers. You didn't know what to expect with the Broncos quarterback situation, but their defense showed up again in the second half.
Always.
It was just great football. You know, he gets iced at the end. The kid gets iced at the end, and then misses it.
Tragic way to lose. I always say it hurts a lot more to lose by a field goal than to get just blown out completely. Because I mean,
you're right there.
He made the first one
because they saw it going the first time.
Exactly.
Like, you see, he can make it, and then the next time
there's no reason why you shouldn't miss that. I mean, a whole bunch of things went wrong. The place kicker, you know, whatever, you know, he just didn't have it. But regardless of that, we had some other good games. I really want to highlight the Jaguars' performance against the Green Bay Packers. Their defense did really well, actually, against one of the top offenses in the league. Aaron Rodgers being one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, so on and so forth.
It was a lot of buzz around that because Jalen Ramsey came out saying, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers can throw it my way if he wants." You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So it was definitely a lot of hype.
Rookie coming in, talking smack to one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I mean, that was bold of him.
Right.
Allegedly, Rodgers didn't get any completions on him, but he did throw a touchdown while Jalen was trying to sack him. So, I mean, and they won. So, Aaron Rodgers got the last
27-23 victory for the Green Bay Packers. It was a great game all around. I think the Packers DBs are phenomenal. They're playing very aggressive. I think they have one of the most aggressive secondaries in the NFL. Those guys are great. They ball out. They get to the football. They play a lot of man coverage. They get a lot of pass breakups. They make a lot of big plays when needed. So kudos to those guys over there.
A game that was a game that really caught my eye. Which game are you going to talk about? What game was I watching? It was like, ew. Oh. One game that I was really interested in, locked in on, was the Saints and the Raiders. The Raiders added a lot of pieces around their youth, Derek Carr and Amari Cooper. They came out a little slow against the Saints. The Saints showed their explosiveness once again.
Jesus! Okay, go.
The Saints, they showed their explosiveness on offense again, got up on the Raiders early. But, with Derek Carr, Derek. It's Derek. It is Derek.
You guessed it. You was right.
So with Derek Carr with Derek Carr leading their team again, you can see the progression in his career already beginning. He let them down. They came back, and Jack Del Rio rolled the dice, and they went for 2 instead of kicking an extra point to tie it up. Michael Crabtree with the amazing play. I mean, on a fade route to go for 2, you have to believe in your receiver to pull something like that off. So salute to the Raiders, man.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is great too, as he touched on as well. I wanted to talk about Dak Prescott and his performance with the Dallas Cowboys Week 1. Due to the Tony Romo injury, Dak Prescott out of Mississippi State University, he got the start this week against the Giants. And overall, the Cowboys and Giants game was a great game. Giants turned out with the win for a mistake that
it's always a close game.
it's always a great game. But Dak Prescott, he seemed really poised, and I mean, with a line like the Dallas Cowboys have, I mean, I don't see what quarterback would be flustered back there with those guys blocking for him. 3 Pro Bowlers on that O-line. He sat in the pocket. He made his plays. He completed a lot of great passes, and I think he really did that for his first time starting in the NFL. He came in very well with the assets that he had working around him, all the athletes that he had. He made some great throws while he was being pressured sometimes, and he got the ball to his main receivers. Sadly, Terrence Williams, instead of getting out of bounds, wanted to get more yards, forgetting the time.
Well, somebody has to tell him, you should be like, okay, time is a couple seconds left. We gotta get out of bounds. As soon as you catch the ball, it should be relayed from the coach to the huddle from the quarterback.
The only thing Des Bryant could do was run over there and scream after the fact.
Yeah, Des Bryant should have had more catches.
Regardless, that's an L for the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo, his injury has him, sidelined for a lot of the season. I think there's not really any word of his season ending yet or anything like that, but I think if Dak Prescott performs well throughout the next couple of games, that Tony Romo should just sit, honestly. Wow. He's had a lot of injuries in his career, a lot of serious injuries at that. I think maybe, it's almost time for him to just, sit back, honestly. Okay. Take some time, rehab. If you want to keep playing, so be it. But, I mean, take that check.
So you think it's done? He's done in Dallas?
I think he's done in Dallas, honestly.
I think his back is hurting so much because he's been carrying that franchise. I think his back is hurting so much because he's been carrying that franchise.
And not only done in Dallas, I just think he's done.
Really?
I don't think he has that much in him anymore. All these injuries are really hurting his career and hurting him, as you can see on the field. I mean, I think it might just be time for him to put it down or just become that backup and become a mentor to a young, Dak Prescott and mold him into the athlete that, he can be. So the big question for me is just, is Tony Romo done or is he finished?
I mean, I think, if you're a Cowboys fan, you would want Tony Romo to finish out the season, unless Dak is completely, lighting up the league. Like, if Dak is on a roll, you don't want to mess that up. But, if Dak is continuing to throw up game manager numbers and he's just playing okay as a rookie, I think you want Tony Romo to finish out the year and see what he has left. If he's not performing well or he gets hurt again, then maybe we can have that conversation. But I think you owe Tony Romo the right for the rest of the season to let him finish it out. You know what I'm saying?
Even though I am very excited about that loss, we have to talk about.
See, my thing is, Dak Prescott, I think he played okay. You know what I'm saying? I think I was more impressed by Carson Wentz and Jimmy Garoppolo. I was more impressed with Carson Wentz and Jimmy Garoppolo's first NFL starts. I think that they had less than Dak Prescott does. I don't think either of them has as good of an O-line. Neither of them have a Pro Bowl receiver like Dez that Dak has, or tight end like Jason Witten. So I think Carson Wentz and Jimmy G play better than Dak Prescott. That's just what I'm thinking.
Dak Prescott had 227 yards total on the day and was 24 for 45. I mean, we can tell you threw the ball a lot, clearly.
Yeah, it's surprising that they threw it so much, with it being his first game. You would think, I know they couldn't really get the run game going with Zeke, but
early.
Yeah.
He picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, he finished with 51 yards, so, I mean, that's kind of a disappointment. You saw it with Adrian Peterson and Todd Gurley this weekend also. They didn't have strong games. Not putting him in the same class as them, but, it was surprising that they couldn't get their run game. That was supposed to be the Cowboys' strength this year. So if he has to throw it 40 times, then they might see more problems coming up this year.
Right. So that brings us to our next topic. Yeezys take the NFL by storm.
Wow. Kanye in football?
Wow.
Kanye.
I honestly never thought that was gonna come. I didn't.
We saw it with Nick Young. He wore the Yeezys in the basketball game, but we were just like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
you're clowning around.
Yeah, you're gonna break your ankles.
But
shoes.
you know, the Yeezys are actual football cleats. Like, you know, you see it with Jordans, like Jordan brand. They have Jordan cleats.
But I never thought Kanye would go as far.
I didn't think. I wasn't ready for that.
Next is baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, why not? Why not?
So DeAndre Hopkins is the first NFL player to score in those Yeezys.
Score a touchdown.
Shout out
to my fantasy team too. You know, DeAndre Hopkins.
Let's see some other players that wore. Von Miller.
Von Miller won for pregame, but he took him off.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who else won.
Me either.
I know Adrian Peterson posted that he got some shipped to him, but you know, stay on the lookout for the Yeezys.
Yeah, they're definitely on the come up. Yeah. Shout out to Ye.
Kanye's floating on stages now and stuff.
He's making money any way he can.
Okay. Another injury.
I know what you're
my
gonna
boy.
say. I know what you're gonna say.
My guy, Robert Griffin III.
Oh,
man, I mean, it's just like every time he drops back, you just hope he doesn't get hurt at this point.
Some players have to work.
And it's the first game of the season. They're losing. You know, I'm pretty sure it's the fourth quarter. And he's just fighting for extra yards. I mean, he's running to the sideline. Just step out of bounds, Robert. Step out of bounds. He's like running directly as if he didn't see the defender, and he just lit him up, right? Destroyed him. And he has a broken bone in his non-throwing shoulder. And he's done for at least 7 weeks, they're saying. So, I mean, Robert, please, like, as a believer, like I am, like, I just...
As you can probably tell, the NFL has so many serious injuries this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, one that I really want to talk about and congratulate the performance of the Vikings because they came out with a victory this weekend. No
offensive touchdowns.
None.
No offensive touchdowns.
None. And you know, Stephon Diggs had a good day. You know,
Stephon Diggs is always going to get what he gets.
Most definitely. Sean Hill was a starter this week. Not even Sam Bradford that they brought in from a trade or whatever.
They're saying Bradford doesn't know the playbook yet.
Yeah.
So expect to see him. I think they play Green Bay, opening up their new stadium on Sunday night.
Now, I'm not saying that having no offensive touchdowns is going to win you a game because
you can't depend on that.
Yeah, you have to score. Mm-hmm. So the fact they squeezed out of that game with all touchdowns
on the road too.
Yeah,
you know the Titans.
That's big. So maybe even without Teddy Bridgewater, the Vikings will find some success.
They have a talented roster, man. Especially defensively.
Very, and it hurts that they lost Teddy Bridgewater, but you got to keep playing. Mm-hmm. You can't just quit just because your starting quarterback goes down. Yeah, you got to find guys that are going to get in there and get the job done, and that's what they did this past week. Yeah. So even
without Adrian Peterson having a good game, they still got.
Proud of those guys.
I mean, this is something that they can hang their hat on. Yeah, that they got to win like that on the road. Yeah. Not a good offensive performance, but they still won. Against a quality team.
They got it done. Very proud of those guys. Brings us to our final and last topic to sign you guys off with that we really wanted to push to the end so we would not have to discuss it because we are both diehard Washington Redskins fans, but we are definitely going to speak on that right here, right now.
You want me to go first or you got it?
I just wanted the world to know that once Ryan Shazier intercepted the ball in the third quarter, third quarter?
I think it was
early in the third quarter. And almost, returned it for a touchdown. I was done. I walked upstairs, I closed my door, and I proceeded to play Madden for the rest of the night and heard my fellow colleague here screaming and yelling at the TV, curse words and all, letting it rip, letting the TV have it. There was one point in the game, I don't know what quarter it was because, like I said, I was upstairs, I was done for the night. As a Redskins fan, I threw in the towel and I was done. I left the stadium early. I came downstairs just for a split second. And the minute I come downstairs, Jamison Crowder gets stripped, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He gets stripped by Ryan Shazier again.
Garcon picked it up, thankfully.
Yeah. But still. No, they turned the ball over when I came downstairs.
No,
they threw a pick. It was the last pick. It was the final pick.
I think it was a touchdown.
No,
I think
it was the final interception, bro. And I was like, oh yeah, see, this is what I come downstairs for. He threw a pick. He threw a pick. I remember it wasn't even that play. He threw another interception in like the fourth
James
quarter.
Harrison in the end zone. James Harrison. I think it got tipped.
I don't know what the score was, but I know
We
that
got, man.
punished. What was it, 34 to 40?
I think it was 38-16. We got bullied, bro. I mean, it's simple as that.
We can't score.
We couldn't stop their.
We couldn't
stop their run game. Like D'Angelo Williams was doing whatever he wanted. Their offensive line was just bullying us from as soon as they touched the ball in the possession to in the end zone.
It pains me so much to talk about this right now.
I mean. And offensively, we were just killing ourselves. Penalties.
Oh my God.
Holding. False start. How many false starts did we have?
It was first and 25. Half the game, at least 3 times. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Are you starting to question Kirk Cousins' ability in big games? I mean, the last 2 games against Aaron Rodgers and Big Ben, he's looked like
terrible.
He's looked like, you know, he doesn't belong to be out there.
He looks like
we have the weapons.
He looks like our second string quarterback, as if our starting quarterback got hurt, and he's coming in right now and trying to fill his. Kirk has been on the roster for how long? 3 or 4 years?
This is his 4th year, I believe.
What is he doing?
I mean, I think Kirk's going to turn it around. We play the Cowboys defense next week, so, you know, that's
the DBs there are horrible.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we don't turn it around next week, then
I don't know what we're going to do, because we're not filming another episode talking about a loss.
Not against the Cowboys. Mark and Mir Show going to be canceled.
Done.
Because
I
can't have that.
Yeah, we might have to end the season right then and there.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep my hopes up. You know, we still got 15 games left.
Let's not run from the topic at hand.
Okay.
Rashad Breeland.
Man, y'all got to stop killing my man Breeland.
Killing him, literally. And not as bad as AB was. I don't think it was bad coaching to not sit there and set Josh Norman on AB all night. I don't think that's bad, because at the end of the day, he's an NFL cornerback and he's a starter in this defense, so he's going to have to play good receivers. If you are a DB in this league, you can't be scared to play anybody. And Rashad Breeland was not scared. He just, didn't make some plays. Overall, you cannot get beat deep twice on the same fade route. That's what kills as a cornerback. If you get beat deep twice, you're telling me you got to come out. Something's wrong. You get beat the first time, it's like, wow, what are you doing? The coach throws the clipboard. It's like, what are you doing? You get yelled at on the sideline, so on and so forth. But when it happens 2 times, he's breaking helmets and he's throwing Gatorade and he's cursing and fussing with everyone standing there looking at him.
See, my thing is like, even if our game plan wasn't to have Josh Norman follow Antonio Brown all night, that's fine with me. I think Breeland was playing good defense on a lot of those plays. But if he's beating Breeland deep, don't leave him one-on-one, like, with no safety help at all. I mean, because
he needed help.
Antonio Brown's going to do that to cornerbacks all season.
And the thing is, stop bashing him, because Antonio Brown does that to the best of
everyone. It's just Monday night, and people don't really even know Breeland like that, so they think he's like a bum. Like, no, it's Antonio Brown, and he didn't play that well. You know what I'm saying? And he's left alone. Bro, if you're left alone with Antonio Brown, there's going to be some problems, regardless of who it is.
I'm not scared of Dallas. I don't think there's any receiver on that roster that we have to worry about. Because Rashad Breeland...
That kid, number 88, he had how many catches? One?
Yeah.
One more than me.
Yeah.
One more than me.
Yeah. Exactly. So. He was shut down last season by Rashad Breeland. Yeah. So I think Des Bryant at this point is just... Who is Des Bryant? So... I think we're going to have a blast defensively as well against the Cowboys. I think we should win this game 110%.
But, our run defense looked pretty bad. The Cowboys are definitely going to try and run it down our throats.
Now, Jano think he wasn't really upset.
No, because I think he believes in Breeland also. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He believes in the coaching. But, it depends on how long this lasts. If Breeland gets destroyed again, like how long are we gonna let that?
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
That happen.
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Cause we played some great receivers this season.
Oh, and you know what I'm about to say.
Exactly. Week 3.
When you see travel. When we take that trip
to New Jersey.
Oh. Mm-hmm. And you see that kid, number 13?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You're gonna have to put Josh Norman on him because that kid's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And it's already set. The date is already set.
Did we have Victor Cruz sighting too?
Oh, we do.
Sterling Shepard.
Oh, they have receivers. So Rashad Breeland is still gonna have his hands tied.
They're all Gerber babies, but
Hey, I just know that 13 to 24 matchup is what everybody's.
That's what we're waiting for, man. That's what we've been waiting for.
We gonna see a lot there.
So we have to.
And Jado will follow number 13 all over.
Yeah, he's gonna make them.
If I see Rashad Breeland on Odell Beckham Jr. one play, I'm cutting the game off because I already know it's gonna be 6. I'm just saying.
Breeland has struggled with Odell since Odell's been in the league. I mean, he's definitely.
A lot of people struggle with Odell.
Yeah, but Breeland's definitely.
Shout out to LSU, by the way. Go Tigers.
Well,
hey,
that was the week 1 recap.
Week
y'all.
1 in the books.
We got a lot more left for y'all throughout the season.
Color Rush coming up on Thursday night.
The Color Rush uniforms leaked.
Who's playing?
All the Bills and the Jets.
Oh,
so we got all red with the Bills and all white with the Jets. All white face mask, all white.
Oh, shout out to Matt for putting that in the game as well.
All white cleats, all white pants, all white jersey,
all white everything.
All white.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us today on another episode of the Mark and Mir Show. Peace.
Yeah.